What is up, everyone? We are officially back and almost unloaded from the LZ World Tour. So the videos last week you guys saw were a little chaotic because we were prepping. We didn't have a lot of time, but we made it happen. So I appreciate you guys being patient with us. But I think the videos were still fun, right?
Do our best.
We do our best. So now we're back in the flow of things. But I figured I'd give you guys a couple updates on a few things because a lot has happened in the last few days. So we decided not to film the LZ World Tour purely because I really wanted the boys to enjoy it. I really wanted to enjoy it myself. When we start filming it and trying to build a narrative, it puts a lot of extra stress on the event and puts a lot of extra stress on us, and it makes it a whole thing. So this time the boys were able to properly enjoy the event and I was able to just focus on competition. And as you guys know, we brought out the purple coupe, the SR20 versus the world. And guess what? We had some pretty good results. This was by far my best LZ World Tour results and it was pretty cool. Now my biggest win from the weekend was I was P1 qualifier, which is huge. It was
insane.
Insane, the craziest feeling, because I always first off, I was like, I'm not that good at E-Town. Like E-Town always kind of stresses me out a little bit. It's a little bit of a tricky track to drive. And so I was already a little bit on edge and I was just super stressed out from the week. And so to come up and pull out P1 qualifier was insane. It was me, Adam was second, and Chelsea was third. That is a lineup and I am awesome. Super proud of that. I mean, the grid was stacked. Like we go to all these LZ events and you're like, okay, it's a bunch of YouTubers drifting and stuff like that. If you think about it, 70% of the grid at any time is just straight FD drivers. It's supposed to be the pinnacle of the sport, right?
Yeah, best in the world.
Best in the world. So to be able to go up, I mean, Chelsea is one of the best drifters in the world. Luke Fink was there. One of the best, like, even Adam. Adam finished off Drift Masters and FD in top 5 at one time. Like, that's crazy. So P1, I'm super proud of it. That was really cool. The coupe did amazing. It was the best the car's ever felt. I was locked in. It was good. And then when it came to the competition, I was doing good. Your boy was on it. I was locked in. Everyone was stoked. And then when it came to my semifinals battle, the battle basically to get on the podium, I was one turn away. The win was there and I hot dogged it so bad. Still got things to learn. It's drifting. Consistency is almost one of the most important things, and one turn will cost you to win, and it was just one little mistake that cost me the win, and I was so close to at least second place. But I ended up getting fourth. I had to battle Luke Fink for third and fourth, which is yeah. It was a close battle. I put up a fight, so I'm really proud of myself to be able to hang and, you know, even to put up a fight against Luke Fink, like, that was.
Boy drove his ass off.
Thank you. It was cool. And dude, the fact that my little SR car,
this thing's good. This is a good car.
Good car. It put up a fight this weekend, and I am so proud of it. I feel like the aura of the car is different now, knowing that I could throw down with those FD cars.
Big energy.
She got, yeah. It sets the tone for the season really good. I didn't get that trophy that I wanted, but either way, it gives us some good momentum. And I think the best part of the weekend was actually getting a compliment from Chelsea Nilfa, because he's not an easy one to get compliments out of, and for him to go out of his way to say something to me, it was, I made the whole weekend worth it. Good way to start the year.
Good job. You
Thank
fucking
you.
killed it.
Thank you. It's like, it's so funny. Like, competing sucks is like, you want to be so proud you've gotten so far, but you also know you were so close to that win that it hurts.
Dude,
makes you hungry for the next one.
For sure. No more hot dogging. We gotta, you know, just lock in. No more hezzy, but whatever. Way more moments to prove myself this season, but I'm super proud. As you guys know, we made a big fuss about some major changes in E36, so when my buddy Guy from New Zealand came and drove it, he would have some optimal results, and he drove incredible. Now, I didn't get a chance to drive the car to see if it felt better, but the way the Guy drove that car and the way you could watch the car transition and handle what it was handling, you could just tell the car just feels so much better. Guy drove it so good, it was almost disrespectful. Like, it was insane. I mean, look at this clip right here. We had a couple boo-boos,
That's
smash.
what it's made for.
The super rare. Jody's still mad at me about this.
Pissed.
Original,
I don't even care about the car. I only care about the taillight.
the original M Pros. I should have taken those off a long
I
time
did
ago.
not know they were worth that much. I would have been took them off.
Yeah,
Yeah, why are they on the drift car?
I was wearing them as a badge of honor because I haven't fucked them up yet. But
Yeah.
I mean, guy kept them together. The lenses. They had 3 layers of lens to go through.
I got some clear packing tape on the other side.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, we'll fix it up real nice.
But it officially is a drift car now. And on top of that, Luke Fink had to be a bully. Look what he did to my car. A 1 and a 2. I'm taking that personal. Next time around, Luke, watch your doors. So continuing on the updates, while we were there in New Jersey, I was able to pick up some parts from our boys down at Parts from Japan. They're always the best source to get us some hard to find goodies that we need. And what we got here is a brand new right-hand drive rack for the 180. Which is crazy that you can get these brand new. So they make left-hand drive, right-hand drive, S13, 14, 15. And I've been running these racks in my S chassis for a few years now, and they're amazing. These cars are old, it's hard to get the stuff for. So Parts from Japan, brand new rack, even right-hand drive, so good. And on top of that, I was finally able to get an extra S15 dash because I really want to put an S15 dash in the 180. I think it'd be super cool. So the boys, of course, had one because they got all the cool stuff, and we'll get this thing fitted in the 180 so we can see what it looks like. I know it's a super common mod in like New Zealand and Australia and Japan, but I don't see it happen very often in the States, so I think it'd be pretty fun. Also, speaking of the 180, since we have our beautiful Garage Zero S13 SR that we want to get in the dang thing, I bought myself a brand new C09. I really like to feel these transmissions. I have in a lot of cars, so I want to keep it consistent. So I got this from Tom Hesser Nissan. They give me a great deal. Still buying brand new, which is huge. Like, you can't beat that. They're a little pricey, but the fact that you can get them, if I can get them brand new, is just kind of the worth it factor. I bought a paint job for Brian, so I gotta get Brian to paint the engine bay, and then we can start assembling this car and actually making some moves with it. I just want to give a huge shout out and huge massive thank you to Tire Streets and to Sunoco for making this weekend happen. They made sure we had tires on our wheels all weekend to make sure we were ready to battle, and of course some quality fuel in our cars to make sure I don't gotta worry about nothing and I can make all the power that I could squeeze out of that little SR by giving me some quality fuel. So if you guys want to get yourself some tires from Tire Streets, make sure to use my discount code JimmyO on checkout to save yourself some pretty good money, and make sure to buy in bulk so you can save yourself some even more money and get ready for the drift season. And well, to wrap up our weekend, I just want to thank LZ and the crew and the Drift Games crew and the Naps and everyone involved for putting together such an amazing event. It went so smooth. We had such a ball. It was such a good group of people. I do apologize I wasn't able to go and mingle as much as I like. I usually like to go out in the crowd and hang out with everyone, but we were so locked in on trying to get all the cars sorted the entire time I wasn't even able to escape. There'll be more opportunities for that later this year because there's a lot of events ahead of us, and now we got even more prep to do. Luckily, the Pro Car, the stuff that we've been waiting on, is all shipping out this week, like the last 3 big things. So we can finally make some big progress on it, which is huge. I mean, we can only go as fast as
UPS allows.
yeah, as fast as, you know, we can only make so many things for it. Some things we just have to buy, and hands are tied behind our back, but we'll make some good progress. But for now, we have some other things to do. We gotta get back to work on the Ferrari, our Maserati Ferrari engine thing swapped to Porsche 911 SC. We got a lot of work ahead of us, so we need to get back to it. So the next big thing we gotta do is we have to get the components in the front of the car. We need to get the fuel cell in, we need to get the radiator in, because after that, it's gonna be a giant game of connecting lines. As you guys know, we cut up the inside of the car, got our whole like shifter tunnel out, and that's gonna be where we're gonna run the majority of our lines, but we gotta get the actual parts of where the lines are going mounted before we can actually run the lines. Does that make sense? Fuel cells are coming this week, which is huge, but what I want to do today is move on to another issue while we can, and that is trying to figure out, well, the intake. We haven't really done much talking about the engine. We haven't really had to do much to mount it at this point, but there is a debate going on here. What intake solution do we use, right? So we have our factory Maserati intake, which is really pretty. It's really symmetrical. It's beefy. It's got the Maserati symbol on it. It looks good. It's pretty, but there's some other wow factors we could do to make this car kind of stick out even more. They do make another Maserati intake. It has like a little 90 on it. We'll put a picture right here. A lot of guys suggested that. I think it's kind of ugly. I don't really like the gold. I only like the 90. We don't got to use that. But the cool thing about this engine is the same skeleton and we could say it as a Ferrari engine. So like the F430 or the Ferrari California, I think shares the same platform. And so that means we could use the intakes off of those engines, which is cool. So if you guys seen the Ferrari F430 intake, we'll put it right here. It looks gangster. Like not only is it have these crazy dual runners, but it's red. It says they're iconic. It says Ferrari. It looks fast as f***. And those two intakes just sticking out right here. It looked nuts. And honestly, it would be easier to fit with a wing because I could put it like inside the wing. So don't worry about it. Or we could rotate it forward and we could probably cut this tray up and run it in the inside, but whatever. Either way, because I think you could flip 180. So that's a really good option. The only bad part about that is it's expensive. But I want this car to be extra. So I think it's worth the money. And then I could be like, oh, look, it's a Ferrari engine. I could be that guy, you know, because a lot of guys have these engines with those intakes and say it's a Ferrari engine, but we all know it's not a Ferrari engine, but who cares because it looks cool.
As long as you look good doing it.
Yeah, as long as you look cool, right? That's 90% of the battle at this point, isn't it? Or ITBs.
They make an ITB kit for this car?
Absolutely not. So it turns into a whole fiasco. But we have the tools, we have the technology, we have the friends. We can make it happen. It'll just be quite a bit extra work, but will it be worth it? And so today we're gonna ponder into that realm to see what you guys think and to see if it's something we want to dig into. But the first thing is we got to figure out if we could even unbolt this intake with the engine in the car.
Yeah, that's a game in itself. I don't know if that's gonna come out.
Plus, we still need to weld a fitting to this oil line right here to finish up our oil system, which the line needs to come off. It's looking pretty good there, Spoon.
I'm optimistic.
You know, just enough room. Most of this
Hopefully we can tilt it forward and just pop it out.
I don't want to be the pessimistic one, but I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Go home.
Yeah, go home. You're like, yeah, I'd love to.
All right, here.
All right, yeah. Like, come on, Spoon, let's show them how it's done.
So far I can get to all the bolts.
See, I planned for that. You know? Step 1, plan for step 10. I definitely could have put the engine higher too. I was tempted. I was very tempted too.
I think you would have screwed us that.
Oh yeah, because like I made it so I could just get my fingers under here. And hopefully that's enough. So we think all the bolts are disconnected.
That doesn't seem like it.
Oh, it's been on there for a long time. Oh my god.
Is it really gonna be that easy?
Oh, this stupid pipe.
Oh, like he was made for it.
Just enough room.
That's crazy.
You know,
Nice ports.
I planned for this. You know.
Those are some nice ports if I've ever seen some.
Wow, what
Yeah.
a beautifully designed head. Holy shit. Oh my god, those are big juicy ports. And look at the heart, like the machine cut edges.
That's nice.
This is like, besides the dry sump and the look of it, this is the first, like you could really tell that like Ferrari designed this engine. Look how big they use every millimeter they have. And what's nice is the runners are super tall. The more you could have the runner try to go directly into the cylinder, the more power it's gonna produce theoretically, right? So like if you have, say this is our head, and the ports have to do like a straight 90 into the cylinder, that's a restriction. But especially on
all that air is having to hit the wall and
then
go
down, right? And so on an NA setup, that really matters. So like all the high horsepower NA engines are the ones that have the ports straight.
Oh, so that's why on like LS engines you see like the super high RAM intakes.
Yeah, it helps with the flow, right?
Okay.
And that's why the K series is so good because the ports are so tall, and the NA guys are trying to bring the ports up even taller. You know, that's why I was so stoked about the S13 SR because the ports are way taller than the S14 SR. So like, it's all the small things that produce more flow and more efficiently, right? Because the head is what produces the power. The bottom end is supposed to hold the power. That's like the old school saying. Look at that, dude. Look at that design.
That's cool. That makes me more hyped for this engine.
Yeah, it looks like a race engine. You know what I mean? It looks like a performance engine. So as you guys remember, this is our Quattroporte 4.2 liter V8. So if you guys remember, this engine was super cheap. It was $2,500 used on Marketplace, and I see quite a few of them on Marketplace, $2,500. It's a great engine, but I think what happened was the transmission they put behind these engines are horrendous. They kept blowing up at like 30, 40,000 miles, and so I think being like a Maserati, I think they just got rid of the car and people pulled the engines because the engines were still good, so there's quite a few of them around, which is great. So I'm excited to see more people use these in swaps. I feel like it hasn't been done a lot yet. It's been done on a few cars, but let's talk about some other things that I really like about this engine other than just the price point, right? So we know it's got factory dry sump. We know it's a Ferrari engine. We know that accessories are nice and simple. We love it. As busy as it looks, it's actually a really neat package. So we have this big canister on the inside, which I believe is for our VVTi actuation. Whatever, it's a little ugly, but it's out of the way. Alternator's right on top. But what's cool is the wiring. So if you look at here, we have a bunch of plugs. And what it did was it took all the sensors on the engine and disconnected them in one area, which is really cool because usually you have your engine harness and it plugs to each individual sensor. It doesn't really give you a good breakaway point. When we make our engine harness for this engine, most of the plugs will end up just going to here. It's a nice breakaway point. You know, we have our cam sensors, we have our VVTi actuators, we have an alternator plug. What else do we have in here? Knock sensors. A lot of those sensors are placed right up in top and allows us to tie into very easily in the back, so it makes it a lot neater when we go to make our harness, which I think is pretty damn cool. You would think being designed by Ferrari, my brain thinks it would be way too overcomplicated. I'm like, oh, European engine, there's gonna be stuff that's just gonna be a pain in the ass, but this engine has, the more we take it apart, the more we realize how simplistic it's built and how easy it is to actually work on, which is amazing. So we come to ITB talk. If you look at Anthony's beams right here, as you can see, it has ITBs. What are ITBs? They're individual throttle bodies. So instead of, you know, an intake sharing all of its volume with one throttle body, each cylinder gets its own throttle body for max flow. The more flow you can get in an engine, the more power you can get, right? Theoretically, on top of that, you get that throttle response and that noise that we all love. I think it's really the noise that most people go for ITBs. I think we can all admit that. The noise is 90% of it. That being said, it is a lot more work. It does change things up quite a bit. And for a lot of engines, like the beams that are common, you can get off-the-shelf ITB kits. But for our engine, they don't make an off-the-shelf kit, so that's where it gets tricky. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right, you know what I'm talking about? So when it comes to custom ITBs, there's a lot of different ways people do it. There's a lot of common throttle bodies, like a lot of guys will use motorcycle throttle bodies. It's very, very common. And
that's interesting, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because a lot of you can get like the, I forgot, like the Gixxers and stuff come with throttle bodies. It's very common because they're cheap, they're abundant, and they're small. They're small, so they make it easier to kind of adapt on, and they don't really rely on other bodies. They're kind of individual, so it's super common. But for our case, I'm trying to think, what's the best way to do it for us? And I kind of sold a cheat code from a couple guys I saw on the internet. And what I got here is some OEM throttle bodies off of a different engine. And what's nice about this is a lot of things are already figured out, right? The linkage are all tied together. It has a vacuum rail, it has the fuel rails that are tied together, and a lot of it has the TPS is all tied together. It's so nice. So we have 4 and 4, it's 4 V8, and it makes life a lot easier for certain aspects. Now, what I was looking for, the biggest thing was cylinder spacing. We needed to make sure the spacing of these were all the same, because if they weren't, we'd have to change all of this stuff anyways. So the cylinder spacing is really what changes where everything goes. So we looked up the cylinder spacing for the Maserati engine. When we looked up a couple different cylinder spacings for factory ITB engines, and what we found out is the S65 BMW engine shares the same cylinder spacing with each other. So the center of the throttle bodies should be dead center with the center of our intake runners. Does that make sense? You look at our intake, the center of these should be lined up with the center of these. You see it? So if you look at it, it's actually slightly off.
A little bit.
But it's definitely,
it's very close.
It's very close. Yeah, it gets a little off. So, you know, Google is a little off, but I think we can make these things work. It's close enough. Now, these aren't the biggest throttle bodies in the world, but we don't really need the biggest throttle bodies in the world, especially since we're kind of going for more looks and noise.
We just need that chum chum.
Chum chum. I mean, these are pretty juicy ports. Now the goal is, and these things are cheap. This was on eBay with the rails, with the injectors and everything. This was like 400 bucks. So, I mean, it's a lot of money when you get 8 ITBs with all the linkage and stuff. 400 bucks to see if this will work or not. The big thing is we have to adapt these to the engine, which is the hard part. You know, when it comes to the fuel rails and the trumpets and everything like that, that's whatever, easy as. But adapting it to the engine is the actual hard part. And that's what we need to start pondering today to see if it's something that we even care to do. And so I spent the money to see how these things will even look in here. A little bit. Okay, we'll get rid of the vacuum plenum. We don't even need that.
But it's alright, because we're gonna need an adapter anyway, so it might sit.
Yeah, it might actually like bring it
It might
up.
actually sit a little higher. Should we start with taking the vacuum plenum off?
Let's start with taking the vacuum plenum off. Actually, for now, let's just take off the oil line we need to take off anyways.
Where do you want to cut it to put the fitting?
me a second. I actually really like this engine. Everything's so simple. Dude, that does look kind of sick because it makes it look that much more motorsports. Like, it's a little ugly because we open up the center and we show off its, you know, it's a little naked body there. Sorry, that was weird. It shows. But what we could do is we could make like a finishing panel that's like hidden. I think of it this being like carbon or something, and we could just kind of like put it here.
Well, also not a good idea too. We can do almost like the LS guys do and do the crossover trumpets to hide the center.
That would be kind of cool. We have anything we can mock up for trumpets right now? Because that's the trumpets are the best part of it. Yeah, that's the metal I found.
That's exactly what I was
That's what you were thinking, right? Like cut off pieces like that. Go out with it, maybe. They're supposed to be all this. You know what I'm trying. Yeah, you see,
get the idea.
You get the idea. Like right here, Austin. Right here. You get the idea.
Yeah. Let's see it.
It looks cool. I don't know. I love the engine because it does look it looks very European race car, which I think actually suits the energy of the car very well. Versus like, if we saw like a Japanese car engine in here, it would feel different. I don't even know how to explain it. Like this, I feel like looks like a 90s motorsports engine, even though it was made in the 2000s. But still, you know what I'm trying to say. We don't really know what runner length we want yet until we actually get the thing on the dyno, because the runner length will determine the power band, right? You know, longer, more low end, shorter, more top end, you know, blend that to. We'll talk about that later on, but the big thing is we have to figure out how to adapt these things. So what I need to do is I need to 3D scan the throttle bodies. We need to 3D scan the engine itself and then start getting some designs mocked up, doing some 3D prints.
Do you know anyone?
I have a couple guys in mind. That's the mission for this week, and I wish we could kind of do all one video, 3D scan, design, whatever, but we only have like a day to film these videos. So I wanted to show you guys these ideas so we can start getting this mocked up in the background. So let me know what you guys think. ITBs or Ferrari intake?
Easy way Ferrari. Very, very hard and complex ITBs.
I personally vote Ferrari.
You like the Ferrari one?
I think that this is cool. This is a good idea, but I think the Ferrari intake would be just really
This
sick.
could always be V2.
I want to see both so bad. Like, this looks so cool to me. Like, this is so badass. But okay, so here's the problem with the ITBs too. Obviously, having to adapt them is one thing. You know, we know talented people. We can make this happen. The big troublesome, and I'm not going to claim this idea at all because this has been done, I believe, twice already. It hasn't been fully figured out yet, but I've seen two guys try to make this happen, and the big problem is the throttle linkage right here.
And the fact that you're going E-throttle makes it even.
And that's the hard part. So we have dual actuators, but they do make it easy for us because they give us this little pivot point on both sides. But the problem is, like Spoon said, we are going E-throttle. So E-throttle ITB actuation is a little tricky. Now, Kinsler has it figured out because it just came out with an ITB electric drive motor that works with an electronic pedal that has the correct torque rating to make this happen. Now what happens is it does take quite a bit of force to open these up. You know, you have a pretty hefty spring on here, and the problem with ITBs is the first like 5% that they're open is the most aggressive, at least when it comes to tuning. So if you notice, like, look at this. I cracked the throttle body a hair, and it opens each throttle body up a little bit. But now if you think about that in terms of one throttle body, 8 throttle bodies cracked open a hair is a large increase on a single throttle body share between all 8. Does that make sense? And so when it comes to the partial throttle control, the drivability of it, it's very tricky with ITBs. And so the hard part is finding an electric actuator that can accurately control these small inputs very precisely. Kinsler has it figured out, but their actuators are like $2,500 a piece, and we would need 2 of them.
Ouch.
I have seen guys take a Bosch throttle body, like the Bosch E-throttle, the electric throttle bodies, and actually take out the throttle blades and clamp to the rod, but it seems like they might not have enough nut to them to actually control these properly. So that is the big one. But I want these to work so bad. I kind of want to try it, and if we fail, we fail. You know what I mean? Like, we got to try it.
We're not gonna fail. If we're doing it, we're doing it.
Well, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
we will, like...
When we normally try something, we can get it done.
But I'm saying, like, maybe not say fail, but hurdle it. You know, we'll have hurdles, but I think...
It'll be an uphill battle.
But I think it'd be worth it.
So the people who have done it on this motor have done an actual cable. instead of
one
e-throttle.
guy did e-throttle, and he had this exact issue that I'm describing. I'm pretty sure he only used one throttle body to actuate both. But I think if we use 2 throttle bodies, it might split the load difference between the 2. Anyone's uncle works at Kinsler and put like 2 of those in their pocket. You know, some like prototypes.
Nice.
Shipping this way. just inspiring theft, no. But I think the challenge might be worth it because, dude, this is badass. We could go cable throttle. We don't need to go e-throttle. We just gotta find a 12-foot long throttle cable.
I know a guy.
Am I know a guy?
I know a guy.
I think this is so badass.
I think this is cool.
It's a lot more work, but it's so badass.
If we can get it adapted to the engine fairly easily, I think it'll be worth it.
Stage 1, we're gonna do is we're gonna try to figure out these adapters. We can get these adapters dialed in, then we'll get it going. Adapters are busting our balls. We can't make the resources align. It is what it is. We move on. We go Ferrari intake. We make it crazy. How's that sound? I know we're doing a lot of talking in this one, but I really want you guys to be involved with this build. I really want you to see our whole thought process and really see what goes into it, other than just being like, we have this part, let's bolt it on. Good learning experience for us to learn together in real time. So lucky for us, my buddy helped the Night Ride boys design their adapter plate to run ITBs on his 1UZ. And guess what? They use the same ITBs as us, so he has that whole file already figured out. Now what we have to send him is the file or the measurements for the intake so he could design the Maserati side. All for the 3D scanner, all from this end of the intake. He told me a little cheat code that will get him going, so let's go bang it out. Jordy! Push some buttons for me, kid. All right, so we have our high piece of technology here. The shop scanner. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and get it on there. All right, Jordy, hit that scan. You're gonna scan of a silhouette of my face in the background. I don't know what you said. I mean, it looks pretty good to me, Jordy.
I don't know, dude. I say rescan.
I don't know about that.
Should we go see if Micro has a better scanner?
Yeah, that's
all
a
right,
good
give me a second. I'll adjust on the pulse.
Do a kickflip.
All right, Tony. I need your highest level of accuracy, precision tool.
What is that tool?
Your printer scanner.
Okay.
Your scanner. You used this before?
Do whatever you need. Your attempt is going to be just as good as mine. But I do have a flash drive. You want to scan it to a flash drive, right?
Sure, that works. Who wants to click that button for me? Hit the scan button, Spoon.
I'm pressing buttons with my titties.
You were.
This is gonna be a black hole.
There's nothing on the screen.
I know.
that was a fail.
Someone put their butt cheeks on it. Let's see how these came out.
That was me.
That was your boob?
Look at my titty on the top left.
Oh, I got a pimple. That's a good scan. They got a lot of color in that one. Damn, that's so f***ing spot on. I'm gonna say that too. I'm like, what the?
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I think that'll work.
I think it'll work. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I think that'll work. I think you can make that work.
Yeah, I think you make that work. That's cool.
At least just to get them started,
Some of them
right?
are pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Worst
Cool.
case, send them the intake.
Yeah, worst case send them the intake, right? We got it scanned. I just took a bunch of measurements to confirm our scan was accurate so everything could be to scale. So I sent this off to my buddy at Ding Dong Drift. He's gonna put together a drawing for us. We're gonna print it locally for a test fit this week. And then once we confirm that all fits, he'll print us one in a higher end material and he'll ship it out to us and we'll get going. So we're we're already making some good moves, so I'm super pumped about it. And I think if the one thing we have to sacrifice is e-throttle, it's actually not a big deal. It's actually kind of falling together pretty quickly, so I'm excited. And another nice thing with the ITBs is we could utilize any trunk we want. With the intakes, we'd have to find a trunk that had a bigger wing in it so we could offset it with the throttle bodies. But with this, we could even run an OEM flat trunk and it'll still fit. So we can get I want to do like a turbo wing. I think we all want me to do turbo wing or something cool like that. And then it'll fit no problem. OEM latches, No worries. So after all our pondering, we're gonna go full heavy and try and get these things to work. We're gonna make it happen. They're too cool not to utilize in this car, and it just adds the specialness of this swap. We don't have the big Ferrari symbol, so can't clickbait that anymore. I'm still gonna. Maybe we'll get like these where it says Maserati, we'll do like Ferrari or something. I don't know. We already have my buddy down at Ding Dong Drift already getting the mock together, so getting the flanges mocked up, and we should be able to get one test printed for the first mock-up, maybe even later tomorrow, which is really, really cool. So hopefully by the end of the week, you'll see these things.
Wow, that moved really fast.
Yeah. So we're gonna 3D print them with some cheap stuff, and then we'll 3D print it with some high-end material and get these things mounted up. And then we got to worry about trumpets, lengths. If we want to do an arch trumpet, a vertical trumpet, because we got to worry about the deck lid and making sure we don't restrict flow to the rear trumpets and doing all that. But we'll get it all sorted. I think it'll be really special. But from there, you know, one step in the right direction. We got the fuel cell just showed up today with the hanger. Next video with this, we'll get the fuel cell mounted, and it'll really start to look like it's coming together. So I'm really excited. But for now, you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. We'll see you guys very shortly.
It's sad because I